So, Richard, thank you very much for being with us today. My first question would be about timing. I would say that comedy is about timing. How do you measure that? How do you come up with the right timing for a comedy?
Well, timing, I would actually say it starts with tone. Like, what's the tone of the comedy? In Hitman, it's kind of a black comedy. Like, what's funny about it, what's not? That's the big atmosphere. And then the specifics is timing, but that's just comedic talent or pacing. So I don't know if it's anything you can learn. I think you just have to perfect that.
But do you achieve your tone or your timing from the script phase of the thing, or then direction, or then editing? You can adjust that.
To me, it comes in layers. Like, I would say at the very beginning, even while I'm working on the outline for the film and the characters, I think that's tone. The architecture of the movie, to me, that's pretty much the movie, the tone, the pace, everything's there. And then the timing, the last layer, let's say that's the music. The lyrics come to me last. And that's where you're trying to get the lyrics to rhyme. You know, perfect. Think of it that way. So, but it's a film's is a construction. You know, it's an engineered construction on a storytelling level. But then, to me, the dialogue is the thing that moves it along and gives it life. You know.
And when you are in the middle of the construction of that comedy, in this case, a comedy, do you think about what makes you laugh, or what would make people laugh?
I always start with what makes me laugh.
Okay.
I laugh a lot. I see the world in pretty funny terms, I think, darkly funny. So I laugh and then goes, oh, well, will that work in a movie? Or is that just too inappropriate or wrong or whatever? So it's great when you have that conviction of something that you just know is funny. It was funny to you, so you have to believe, you're a filmmaker, you have to believe in your comedy. Like, the first time you did it was funny. Maybe the actors or we all laughed, and because as you make it, it's not funny anymore. But you have to really remember and believe it. Some people get bored with their own comedy; they can't do it twice.
Yeah,
because they're tired of it, and they just move on. And you get these really uneven comedies. Like they just had the thing that was funny in the room at that moment, and they all laughed. But 2 days later, it's not that funny. Maybe it's not that funny in the movie. You gotta.
Yeah.
I have to think what's going to be funny forever.
Many directors we have interviewed throughout the years, they say even though they are successful in the box office, they always find very difficult to build up a new project. And your projects are always tricky in some sense, like 20 years of shooting or Boyhood or whatever. Has this one been difficult to build up? Is it always difficult?
It's always tricky. Nothing's ever come easy. But when it comes, it feels like a bit of a miracle. And it makes sense when it does. It's like, oh yeah, of course, it's a good, but there's a lot of films that just sort of flounder, that you don't really get off the ground for various reasons. People aren't excited about it. And even, this film was tough to get made. Even though it's seen as a crowd pleaser on paper, people didn't know. It's like, oh, not much happens. It's hard to, I can't describe to you how unimaginative most people are when they read a script. It's just like a blueprint. You can't, they're missing cinema. It has nothing to do. So I'm always the one sitting there like, my films get better. I get actors and it gets funnier. Every element you like is going to be better in the final film, but no one wants to hear that.
But that's sad to say about people in the business. People with a lack of imagination.
Yeah, I think they see trends, but there's something about reading it. There's a literalness to it. Like, you can't be any better than what they bring to it. So, I don't know. It's weird. Everyone's got their own tastes and quirks, but it's always been a disconnect there, I think, and everyone feels it. No one's comfortable with it. But again, what can you do? That's just the way it's always been. What else do you base a movie on?
And the last one, based on that crowd-pleasing side of the film you mentioned before, how do you see this business going into the future? Because this one is for the screening rooms, for the cinemas.
Yeah.
It's obvious, but we have platforms and cinemas at the same level now. I mean, how do you see yourself showing your films merrily, for example, in 17 years?
Well, I'm pretty sure people are going to never not want to be in theaters for certain films. Movie theaters are a big part of our culture. My concern is sometimes only a certain kind of movie, but that's audiences too. I think we do consume most of movies at home. Most people, it's like what will get them out of their environment to go buy a ticket to a movie, and if that's just a big action-filled blockbuster, then that's on them. If they don't show up and support adult, comedies or adult rom-coms, whatever the genres in that are being left behind at the theater. But I don't know. I don't spend much time thinking about it that much. Really, you can't really control it, and it's always changing. And I think all of us are right, and all of us are a little wrong too. It's not something you can simplify. In the future, we just don't know. I've seen it change a lot in unpredictable ways. So, but I'm pretty sure there'll be movies made.
We hope so.
Some way.